This week's episode of the Inside Running Podcast is proudly sponsored by On. The legend leveled up. With more support, more comfort and more cushioning for more fun on every run, meet the new Cloudrunner 2. From toe to heel, each element of the Cloudrunner 2 is designed to support your foot during movement. A plush tongue means total comfort and easy step in, while a durable heel clip helps to lock in extra stability and support. Visit on.com or your specialty running retail store to grab your pair today.
Being a skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place?
Welcome to episode number 328 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. Big day in the world of running today with the shattering news of the passing of Kelvin Kiptum, the men's world marathon record holder, which we're going to get to straight away and discuss that. Welcome to my co-host up in Canberra, the best Australian running analysis in the game, Bradley Croker. How are you?
I'm all right, Brady. I'm not sure about that, but
I think you are. I was thinking about today, Croaks.
Speaking of today, Brady, did you get into the Super Bowl?
I did. First time I've ever watched an NFL match. Went forever, didn't it? Just had it on the background while I was working.
Tough day to be on the chalk when the Super Bowl's on, because it's a bit like the Melbourne Cup, where the media just hype it up so much that most people out there don't watch a game of NFL throughout the season, and then they're all experts on the Super Bowl day. And it's like, game goes for so long, it takes up pretty much the whole school day. And so the kids are like glued to, live scores and stuff like that. So, yeah, tough day on the chalk when the Super Bowl's on.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch it in class? Do you let them?
No. I'm trying to teach algebra, and they're like trying to watch the Super Bowl on their computers.
Yeah, good luck with that. Welcome to our other co-host, Ellie Pashley's back. This will be the last time we hear from her before Osaka Marathon, which is in 12, 13 days. Welcome to you, Ellie.
Yeah, thanks, Brady. Good to be back again.
Good to hear your voice again. Where were you when you heard the Kelvin Kiptum news today, Ali?
I was sitting having a coffee in the kitchen and I got a message from you, actually.
Oh, that was the first time you'd heard it.
Yeah. I mustn't have been on my phone. And then I saw your message come through. And initially I didn't you said pretty clearly what had happened, but I then went and did some research because, when you first see a sentence like that, I thought, surely he doesn't mean he's died. Surely something else has happened. But yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was the same. First article I got sent, it said supposedly had passed away in a car accident. And I was just like, okay, supposedly that's not black and white. I'm going to dig further. And then my phone just kept pinging. And then, when I went to Twitter and saw reputable news agencies tweeting about it as well, I was like, oh my God, this is true. I'm still so we're recording this Monday. We heard the news today. Still kind of hasn't sunk in yet. Got a bit of shock. Just rattled me big time. What about you, Croaks?
Yeah, so I was at school and same thing, Brady. You messaged our group with a link from track and field fanatics, and I'm not sure how reputable that sort of source is. So early on you're like, oh, is this just one of those sort of fake news articles? And then obviously it was. Then I went to 9MSN or whatever, and there was an article there on Wide World of Sports, which was obviously then confirmed. So it was I was definitely thinking about it a lot at school. Just because, we spoke about it off air that, what I was looking forward to in 2024, one of the main thing was the showdown in Paris between Kiptum and Kipchoge. And I really felt like Kiptum was just going to, hand it to Kipchoge. But yeah, and it's sort of reminds me a little bit, and I'm not sure how invested you guys were in running back in 2011, but Sammy Wenjuru, he died in 2011, and he was also 24. Like, he didn't die in a car accident. It was like falling off a balcony, trying to run away, like as part of like domestic abuse type stuff. But yeah, they sort of live pretty fast and loose over there, and like comparing them as runners, like they were both very similar in like very, very exciting. Like Sammy Wenjuru's Olympics in 2008, when he went from the gun in hot conditions in Beijing, ran 2:06 when the world record at the time was 2:04. Like, it probably goes down as one of the best races ever. And so there's a lot of similarities there with, like, obviously died at 24, both super exciting runners, and still had a lot of their career left.
Yeah, you're spot on. Like, it's just, they're so aggressive the way they raced, and it was almost like this shouldn't be happening like this. And every time we've seen Kiptum, since his debut at Valencia in 2022, it was just like, this isn't not how you're meant to race these things. Like, it's just that sense of, this is unbelievable, how can he do it? There were obviously questions around him as an athlete, and now probably things we'll never know the answers to. But yeah, I was the same. I kind of thought he was so entertaining for the sport. Having someone who really didn't follow that script, even the fact that he was going to Rotterdam and not going to do the World Marathon Majors, and he just didn't seem to, I don't know, care. I don't know. It was just this, I've always called him the bad boy marathon runner, because I thought he was just like this loose unit who was just entertaining for our sport, and a bit unscripted and a bit rough around the edges. And I think it's a huge loss for the marathoning world that he is no longer with us.
Yeah, 100%.
There's sort of some kind of like invincibility with people like that too, isn't there? You just don't think something like that would happen to him. I remember it's sort of like when Kobe Bryant died in the helicopter accident, and it was just, you just never expect it to happen to like those, you know, best in their sport athletes. It's just crazy.
In saying that though, like when I heard the news today, I'm like, of course it's Kelvin Kiptum. Like, it's just, for some reason it was just like, he's that like all over the place, that if one big name marathoner is going to die young at 24, I was like, it was going to be him. You know what I mean? Like, he's just, I don't know, just wildness about him, I suppose. 11 o'clock, driving with his coach when they ran off the road in a single vehicle accident in between two towns. I don't have those written in front of me at the moment, but yeah, super saddening news.
Yeah, it's sort of left a hole in that whole marathon. Like, you know, Kipchoge had been so dominant for so long, and then this sort of guy came out of the woodwork, and it's like, well, one, not only were we going to see them race each other, but here's a guy that was potentially going to break 2 hours on a legit like marathon course. And it's just like, well, how long now do we have to wait until we see a talent like him that's going to come out on debut and run like 2:01?
Yeah, I think that was locked in. I was like, this is locked in for sure in 2024 that we see the first sub-2.
Yeah.
What do you think Kipchoge? How do you think Kipchoge feels about it all?
I kept checking his Instagram today. Like, people already first up, people are commenting on his post saying like rest in peace, like they thought he was the one who died. So there's a bit of confusion there. But yeah, I was waiting, because remember he copped some shit when he never congratulated him on breaking the world record. And even I remember like Nike stance when he broke the world record wasn't like hugely like celebrated. So yeah, I'm interested to see how the running world and the elite running world kind of reacts.
Yeah.
But his job gets a whole lot easier at Paris now, doesn't it?
Well, the King's back. King's alive.
Yeah, but it would have been good to see him head to head.
Oh,
because they never did race head to head. So I know you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I was probably most looking forward to at the Olympics this year, along with probably the men's 1500. Like, just the depth. Like, yeah, anybody can win that race on their day. And I think the other thing was, who's going to make the Australian women's marathon team? They were the top three, I think.
Yeah, we were talking about that tonight, Croaks. Other things we'll be talking about tonight, massive results out of the Adelaide Invitational. Milrose Games happened, some fast times there, Australian records. We got world records to talk about, some big drug bust news as well. I did say to our parkrun news, some controversial stuff coming out at parkrun. Did say to Ellie yesterday, it's a big show to fill in when you got these kind of topics to hit tonight. So, Ellie, a massive thanks for being here. Stay with us for the next 90 minutes, listeners, because we'll be able to take you through all of it. Should we go through some weekly recaps, Croaks? You want to start first, or you want to give it to Ellie?
I don't mind. Ellie, you can go. You're the one that's training for something important.
Star of the show.
All right. So this was we're 3 weeks out from the marathon, so last solid week before really backing it off. So just 9, nearly 10 Ks on Monday morning, and then Monday Arvo, I was on the treadmill. So this was also my last week of heat.
Sorry, Ellie. Can I just, before you get too far into your week, do you want to just maybe recap that Sunday at Albert Park from your perspective, and maybe because everyone's heard about sort of what that session was? Did you do the same one, the 8.642?
Yeah, we did the 8.642. So do you
want to recap just how that went?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so that went well. I had Will and Kieran doing the same session too. So basically our plan was just to run it at goal marathon pace. And yeah, it was a beautiful morning. Got a bit warm later in the day, but it was pretty good while we were running, really, wasn't it, Brady?
Yeah, I think just
Didn't
after
sort
the
of
cool
heat up
down.
until...
I felt hot after the cool down, but other than that, I never really... It felt like the sun was on us, but I didn't feel like I got super hot while we're doing the workout.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So we, unlike the others, we didn't progress ours really. We basically just sat on the same pace. So we went 3:22s for the 8K, 3:23s for the 6K, 3:22s again for the 4K, and then 3:20s for the last 2K. So that got a little bit quicker. But that was mostly just because Kieran dropped me and Will. And so I was just trying to sort of keep him within reach without running too far above the pace range that Jules had given us. So he'd sort of said at the start, just 3:22 to 3:25s, try and sit in there the whole time. So yeah, that was good. Like, I felt quite good on the day. I've been having a bit of trouble. I don't know if I talked about this last time I was on. I've been having a bit of trouble with stitches in this block. And I did get a stitch during this session. I think it was maybe in the 6K rep. But I was able to get rid of it, sort of through the second half of that 6K. And then by the end of the float, it was gone. And then it didn't come back through the 4K, which was good. So, yeah, that's been something I've probably had it 3 or 4 times in marathon workouts. So, yeah, I've got a few things I'm using to try and deal with that. But it hasn't, like, so far each time it's come on, I've been able to get rid of it without having to drastically slow down or to, stop and get rid of it or anything like that. So that's sort of, gives me a bit of confidence that if it happens in the race, I should be able to deal with it.
How you dealing with it, Ellie, during the workouts?
So during the workouts, I messaged Brett Robertson because I remember he told me that he had this breathing strategy that he uses. So he uses a technique where he does 2 breaths in and then a forceful breath out. And I know in the past Jules had told me to breathe out forcefully. Years and years ago, I had a bit of trouble with stitches for a while, and then I haven't really since. But yeah, so I've been doing that. And then I actually got some treatment as well last week through my abs and my obliques on my right side, which I'm pretty tight through my right obliques, and then my back as well. So my thoracic spine's been really stiff. So I just got her to smash that area, and then I've just been doing thoracic mobility stuff. And I actually feel heaps better this week. I haven't had any trouble with it since that Sunday. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Too. But yeah. But it doesn't seem to be related to nutrition. It seems to be more as I fatigue, I think, and my form becomes a bit poor, and I am naturally sort of quite stiff through my thoracic as well. So I think it's just a combination of those factors. So that was good. Got through. I think we did about 35 Ks or so that day, 34 Ks maybe. And I pulled up okay. I was pretty fatigued after it, but not too bad the next day. So yeah. And then so Monday, just under 10 in the morning, and then I think I did 7 on the treadmill. I forgot to calibrate it, so it says I did more, but don't think I did. So that was a heat run. And then Tuesday morning, just 14K with some strides just at home. Tuesday Arvo, another 7 on the treadmill in the heat. And then Wednesday we had a workout. So we were going away from marathon pace this week, and we did 4 by 7 minutes at 3:15, 1 minute jog, 1 minute hard, 90 seconds jog. So yeah, God, running faster than marathon pace feels pretty horrible at this stage of the block. I don't know if you find that, Brady, but this was just Kieran and I. Will, our training partner's hurt his back, so he had to sit this one out. But yeah, we went, the 7 minute reps went 3:14, 13, 11, 13. And then the 1 minutes were 2:54, 3:05, 3:07, and then 2:59. So they weren't a heap faster than the 7 minutes, which, yeah, the 1 minutes felt awful trying to run really hard.
Did you say 2:54 for the first one?
Oh, just for a 1 minute, not a 7 minute rep.
Still, that's good going for 1 minute. That's like punching like a 69 on the track.
Yeah, but it's not even a 400. Like,
yeah, 9 seconds short. That's still
But
moving.
even like,
that's
that's
me going hard.
Yeah.
But even 3:15s or 14s or 13s, like for 7 minutes, is like good running. Like, you know, you're fit, like you're doing that.
And it's not like you got a lot of time to recover.
Yeah, this was the Chanel loop too, though.
Oh yeah.
So
we going which way we going? Clockwise or anti-clockwise?
No, we went anti-clockwise, which isn't as friendly.
Yeah, good. How many turns did you take in that 1 minute when you ran 2:54?
I'll check. I reckon that was, you know how on one side of it you have let's see, where's laps? One side of it.
Yeah, you'd be able to get a straight run.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the 2:54, I had the big bend at the end.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably pretty
right
generous.
Two right angles.
Yeah.
Doing all the maths on these croaks.
Yeah.
Only because I got shit for running fast there when I was like, it wasn't that fast. The GPS is generous.
Yeah, the GPS is a bit... I don't think it's... it's definitely a little bit generous. It's not as bad as the crit track in Geelong where we used to do sessions. I reckon that's worse.
Or the industrial estate. Hey, Brady.
Yeah, Moama. Made some mistakes there myself.
Yeah, so anyway, that was a good session. Glad to get that done and not have to run that fast again. And then that afternoon, I just did elliptical. The next morning, just over 10 Ks again at home. And then in the afternoon, another heat run. So 7 Ks on the treadie. Friday morning, I had 18 Ks over hills. So I just ran with Jordan, one of our friends who lives in Moggs, which is the town beside Aries. And we did a pretty hilly loop, actually. We went up, I don't know if you guys have heard us talk about Gentle Annie, but we went up a track that sort of goes up over that hill. Like, I think we climbed 300 or 400 meters in 18 Ks, and it's sort of all in the middle of the run. But that was quite fun. And then afternoon, last heat run, that was a good feeling. So just 7K again on the treadmill in the shipping container. And then Saturday morning, I was in Melbourne on Saturday, so I just ran along the Yarra, 16 Ks, ran into Richie and Pat, who I coach, which was quite social, actually. I first of all ran into one of my friends from uni, and then another kilometre down the road I ran into those two, so ran the second half of the run with them, which was nice. And then Sunday we had a shorter long run, but we had a 14K tempo in the middle. So, yeah, 27.5K all up, but 14K. And again, the goal was just goal marathon pace. So we ran 3:22s for the 14K, and we had, Matt Gunther was jumping in and out between our group, and then Julian, and then a couple of other girls out there, like Kareen, a girl from Melbourne, and Elise Beacom, another girl from Torquay. They were doing similar sort of marathon sessions around there as well. So that was good, but it was pretty warm on Sunday. So yeah, it was beautiful and cool when we started, and then by the end it was really heating up. So that was a good one to tick off, because we often do this 2 weeks out from a marathon, sort of somewhere between 10 and 14 Ks at marathon pace. And it's, you know how it's just nice spending an extended period of time to see what it feels like once you get a little bit fatigued, because often I reckon, you know, 5 or 6 Ks at marathon pace, you can get away with it without, without just getting that sort of fatigue in your legs towards the end that you might experience in the race. So,
and even mentally, you can get through those shorter reps. Whereas when you're out there for like close to an hour and you know holding that same pace, it becomes a bit mental as well.
Yeah, it does. You almost have to practice the switching off part thing that you do at the start of the marathon as well, just to find your rhythm and then try and switch off and just it's amazing once you've run sort of 4 Ks or so at that pace, how your body just continues without having to think too much about it. So. That was good. I felt quite good on Sunday. So I think it was about 145 for the week. And no issues, touch wood. So now I've just got to get through taper unscathed.
She's fit, Brady.
She's fit. How did you feel at the end of it, Ellie? The 14K at marathon pace, goal marathon pace.
Yeah, I felt all right. Yeah, I felt it got a little hard during the middle, but I think we actually we were running a little bit faster at one point through the middle there, and then we kind of relaxed back off. So I felt pretty good. Like I don't know how long I could have kept running at that pace for, but I wasn't like gassed when we stopped. But, you know, 14K is very different to 42. So it scares me a bit, that pace. Still, like it's not like I'm jogging or holding back, but I mean, I've felt like that before in these sessions, you know, 2 weeks out from a marathon, running slower than this. So yeah, that's a good sign, I think.
I think it's okay to feel like not super good in that one as well, because you're hitting it with so much fatigue. Like people could mentally talk themselves out of it if they get to the end of that workout 2 or 3 weeks out, and it's just like, how am I going to hold that for 42K? But you still got a taper to go. Like your legs will get fresh as. Like, yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah.
But you never ever do sorry, you go.
Sorry, you go, Brad. No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, you never ever do a marathon specific session feeling like you could do 42K at that pace, like any time during training.
No, you shouldn't. Even those like 30Ks, you know what I mean? Like you never finish that going, shit, I reckon I had another 12K in me.
Yeah, you got to factor in all of it's in a training week,
the fitness,
you know,
all that other stuff.
The adrenaline for a race.
Yeah. No,
I'm just so excited for the cool weather as well. Like I think that's gonna feel really nice. You know, running these paces in hopefully 6 or 7 degrees compared to, you know, 21, 22. But we'll see.
It's going to be amazing. Have you thought too much about like layering up on the start line? Because I'm concerned I'm going to get too cold.
Nah.
You know, we get like I just know like BWA just hammered rain for the warm up and on the start line. I just remember being like frozen when the gun went and felt like it was so hard to warm up. So I'm like this year, I'm like, what layers can I put on to be able to like strip off in the first 5K of that race?
Yeah, I reckon that's where arm warmers and gloves are ideal.
Beanie as well, I reckon, on the start line, and ditch it if you have to.
Beanie?
Yep.
Yeah.
I might even go like Yuki,
that cold.
Des Linden like jacket on for the first couple of Ks and then unzip that, throw it.
Only if it's raining though, yeah?
Yeah, it depends. I've got a couple of light jackets, we'll see. It's not much of us, Ellie. You've got to keep warm.
I don't feel the cold, I'll be right.
Yeah, Did I ever... Speaking of Yuki and like staying warm, so my first ever marathon was in Nagano, and Yuki won that race. And I remember there must have been like an out and back section, and at 25K, him and the other, I don't know, 4 or 5 guys that were in the lead pack were still wearing their garbage bag like poncho thing to keep them warm, even at like 25K in the race, because it was snowing. I thought that was like hilarious that here these guys are like some of the best in the world, and they're still wearing like the garbage bag while they're racing. It was bizarre.
That would be terrible aerodynamic.
Liam did at BWA that same year. I reckon he ran in a garbage bag for the first 10 or 15K. I'm not sure why I actually brought up Yuki, because he was one of the ones who didn't do it at Boston. He was in the singlet from the gun, I reckon, whereas everybody else had the jackets and stuff on. But good to know, Croaks, that
Yeah.
you did do it when you made your marathon debut at Nagano.
Yeah, yep.
I think that day at Boston it was like whatever, I don't know what it was Fahrenheit, but I think it was like 0 degrees sleet and 40-mile-an-hour winds or something. So that would be like, that's horrible. I think it would be very unlikely that it'll be that cold.
How's the confidence, Ali, 2 weeks out?
I don't know, like I'm confident in what we've done. I feel like we've done everything we could have. It's just still like what I'm trying to run is so unknown. Like I just don't know if I can do it or not. So I'm basically just, I feel good about what we've done and I'm, ready. I feel ready to give it a crack, but I really have no idea how it's going to go. So yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
It's a bit of unknown there, but you're confident you get into the start line. I think you and Moose have done well, both of you guys, to get to the start line. Like a very aggressive training approach. And touch wood, nothing happens between now and race day, but from a conditioning point of view, you've kind of done everything you can to give yourself the best opportunity.
Yeah, I think so. We've definitely taken more, like our sessions have been harder than ever before. We haven't taken big mileage risks, either of us. That's probably almost been slightly lower, but I think I've done the heat and the cross training to make up for that. And it's just, yeah, like coming off an injury, I think this was as hard as I could have gone without getting another injury. So yeah, so that's good. I feel really, and that's the, like for me, that's the best feeling I can have standing on a start line. If training's gone well and I'm really, confident with what we've done, that seems to be when I then have had my best races. So yeah, it's good.
Do you let, like it's at that stage now where other people are kind of making predictions and stuff as well, and I was going to use it for a whisper later on down in the show, but there's been things that have come across my desk about certain people are putting times on what you're going to run, and is she going to hit this time, yes or no? Like, do you just block all that out this far out from the race, or like how much attention do you pay, or use it for motivation and stuff like that?
No, I like it. I especially like people saying that I can't do it. Yeah, which I've heard rumours of that as well. And that is good fuel for me. Like Julian actually uses that to try and rile me up before races quite regularly. Things like that.
But he just makes it up.
Like telling me that, yeah, he just makes it up or tells me that he thinks someone's going to beat me or he thinks they're fitter than me or whatever. So no, I like that. Like I think it can be dangerous if you've got, people saying to you, like giving you realistic things like, oh, you could run this something amazing that is out of your reach. But no, I definitely like people saying that they don't think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's good.
So
and you're not the kind of person to with either. Like I was talking, when I heard this come through the message group the other day, I was like, she's from like this, her family comes from this farm in Colbernabon. Like these are tough people and don't want to get on the wrong side of these kind of people. You saw a bit of it at World Cross Country. Like you do sound super friendly and stuff, and you are a friendly person, but when you're in a race, like if anyone was at World Cross Country in Bathurst and like saw what was coming out of your eyes, like you can go to the well and you can destroy some people, which I think is going to happen in 2 weeks' time. So those people saying that Ellie's not going to do it, off. I reckon she is going to do it.
Yeah. You've just improved the time by a minute.
Oh, just stating facts. She's fast over 10k half marathon, best at the world champs cross country. Just got to execute in 11 days' time.
Yeah, thanks, Brady. Yeah, I mean, I think like the thing with the marathon is, there's so much that can go wrong. So that's always like, that's always a possibility. But if you do everything you can to get there as fit as possible, then yeah, if I can, like the big thing I'm worried about in the next 2 weeks is getting sick. So I'm basically going to be a hermit between now and when I leave. So yeah, I'll be giving it a good crack anyway. I don't really have an option but to try and run a time that I'll need to try and get in that top 3. So yeah, that's the goal, and I'm ready to have a crack at it.
Any news about like pace groups and stuff yet from the race?
Nah, I haven't heard anything. Often you don't hear until the technical meeting the day before.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's whispers around the track, but yeah, that will be really interesting because last year the women were Lisa ran 2:23 and she came fourth, and I reckon the lady who won was 2:21 or 2:22. So I think they paced it at around 2:22, 2:23 pace. But yeah, this year I'm not sure what the plans are. I think there's a girl who's run 2:19 maybe in the field.
Yeah, there is.
So yeah. So whether she wants like sub 2:20 pace, I'm obviously not going to be going with that. But I'm hoping there's maybe 2 pace groups for the women. Like the women's elite field is much smaller than the men's, so there may only be 1 group. But I mean, if there's not a pace group that suits me, that's fine. I've got, Will and Kieran, who I've done this whole block with, we'll run together. Regardless, we've kind of got our race plan, and if it works with a pace group, that's great. If it doesn't, we'll just do our own thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be people around us.
Yeah, it was like 400 people under 2:26, I think. So there's going to be a lot of people in that pack.
Yeah, wow.
And probably if not, it might be
many...
a better thing having 4 or 5 people that 2 or 3 people that and a couple of hanger-oners instead of being a pack of 50 people with the second women's pack and everyone trying to hang on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, often the lead women's pack too also often ends up attracting lots of guys just because they know it's going to be an even pace. So we'll see. But do you know how many pace groups they had for the men's previously?
Nah, I'm not looking at that because that'd be only super quick. But I think Moose was ranked like 104th or something with his 2:14. So it's deep.
Yeah, wow.
There'll be a lot of people there. Hey, another thing I was thinking about, like the new shoes must give you confidence. Like it feels like, Croaks will talk probably more about it in his weekly recap, but I put them on last week just for some strides. Moose at the running company Geelong looked after me and sent me a pair. And I must admit, I think it's probably the first New Balance pair of shoes that's like a contender to think about race day. Whereas, I'm not having a crack at New Balance here, but you would have raced in shoes that I probably wouldn't have looked at for my first or second choice to run a marathon in, whereas it feels like with this version they've caught up.
Yeah, these ones, as soon as I got my first pair, I put them on for strides as well, and immediately I felt like, well, these are a few seconds faster than the previous ones. Just, they're very different. Like, to me, they feel, I haven't worn the other shoes, so I can't really compare, but compared to the previous models, they feel a lot faster. They feel more aggressive. They're a little bit firmer, which I like as well, because I don't like really soft shoes. I just straight away, I felt like they were a lot better. And the first couple of workouts in them that I did, I thought, these are really good. So I am excited to race in them. I've probably got used to them now because I've been wearing them so much, but that's something I hadn't really thought about. That's like an
extra couple of
little
seconds.
advantage.
Yeah. Because was your PB, were you with New Balance when you ran your PB back at, that was Nagoya, wasn't it, 2019?
Yeah, no, I actually wasn't. So I was wearing 4% that day, the original ones.
Yeah.
And then I was signed with New Balance just after that. So when I ran my half PB, I was wearing the New Balance TC, which was like their first kind of hybrid training racing shoe. And then I ran New York in the RC ones, which was their first, technically their first super shoe, which was, you guys remember that one?
That was a green one?
Fairly low stack. Yeah, the green one, yeah. My PB wasn't, but I think, half PB, 10K PB were in New Balance. And,
Your run, what did you run at New York again? Remind us of the time.
2:27 low.
Yeah, so on that course was probably more impressive than your PB. Do you think?
I think that was equivalent to faster than my PB. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you're in the
So I liked those shoes when they came out. They were more like a racing flat, I would say.
Yeah.
I did used to get a little bit beat up from them, whereas each time they've got a bit chunkier. And then they've kind of been trying to balance weight because the first ones were really light, but then, there wasn't enough sole to them. So then they kind of added a bit more with the RC2s, but they were a bit heavier. But I did like that shoe. I think I ran Tokyo in them, the Sapporo, the Olympics. So I didn't get to race a lot in them because that was through COVID where there wasn't much happening. And then I wore the SC version 3 for London last year, sorry. And then, the SC4s I'll wear for Osaka. So, I'm excited to wear them. These are my favourite ones.
Something in this, Croaks.
Yeah, I wore them straight out of the box on Friday for my session. So, and definitely definitely the best racing shoe that I've worn from New Balance, and probably the most comfortable racing shoe from any brand I've ever worn. So I'll chat about that.
Yeah, they're comfy, aren't they?
They are very comfortable.
These people writing her off who just listen to that, they're like, hang on, she's ran 2:27 in a pretty much super shoe at New York Marathon. We're talking
it was a super shoe.
No,
it wasn't. It's not the same category. No,
as what other people are racing in these days.
Like
a next percent. Did Sinead run in the next percent that day?
Sorry, what did you say?
Did Sinead run in the next percent that day, or was Alpha Fly out then?
In New York?
Yeah.
Sinead? No, I reckon she's always worn next percent. She maybe only wore Alpha Flies for... Or does she even wear them in Valencia? She always liked the next percent better, I think. So she would have been wearing next percent in New York.
So the point I'm trying to make is
I
don't think that shoe you wore that day stacks up with a next percent. That I think this new one, I haven't done work in it yet, but my first impressions are I think it would. So we're down to about about 223, 224 at Osaka, just off that. Just off my maths.
We'll see. We can predict all we want, but
we're nearly there.
I've got to do it on the day. Yeah.
You do. Croaks, tell us about your week.
All right, so I kicked off on Tuesday, just one of those sort of bread and butter sessions, 8 by 3 minutes off 1 minute sort of walking rest. So we pretty much walked the first 45 seconds and then just go into a bit of a shuffle for the last sort of 15 seconds. Weather was all right. It was just a bit humid, but I loved this session. It was like, I think my fastest rep was 3:10 pace. My slowest was 3:14. Felt like I could have done a few more of these. And I think like this is the stuff that gets you fit without really like banging you up too bad. So for me, it's probably 10K pace, I suppose. But when you're doing it off a minute complete rest, you recover pretty well. So I was happy with how that one went. And I think I've been saying like a few of my sessions recently have been probably a bit too high intensity. So I feel like this stuff is sort of what I need a little bit more of. And then Wednesday, out at Mulligan's, listened to Road to Osaka. And I did right here. I got a little bit of a giggle when in that first hour when Moose and Reese were chatting about, I guess, their training, and Moose, openly admitted that he's an advocate for like fast long runs. He's like, oh yeah, down here at the Surf Coast, we'll like do Tuesday session, Friday session, then we really sort of get rolling on the Sunday long run over the hills. And after him giving me shit for the last 6 years, I quite enjoyed that. But I do agree with it. I think there's something in that. So I did 90 minutes, 4:14s.
Boys went deep, didn't they, for that first 60 minutes? I was like, when are we starting a weekly recap here? What was that?
No, it was good.
I actually thought that was hilarious. Their little rogue combo.
Yeah. I don't know if Moose was worried that he's like, I've only got one person here, I've got to keep the conversation going, and they just got into this deep stuff, which was so good. Marcus, in your comments though here, Croaks, Moose is a flog. I'm like, Moose is a lot of things, but not a flog, Marcus. I'll stick up for him there. He's a good bloke, but yes.
Yeah,
Marcus has come off the top rope there, yeah. 2 people liked it and agreed with him, but it's not a flog. He's a good bloke.
Yeah, I probably should have deleted that comment.
Maybe he comes to a different country and doesn't understand what flog means in this context.
So then Thursday after work, I went down to Yerrabee. So been doing a fair bit of riding with Lilli over like the school holidays, and like she's got pretty good on the bike. Like we'll ride to Viv's work, which is, I don't know, 5 or 6K away, and then ride home and have a few breaks along the way. And I thought, she's probably okay to ride with me around Yerrabee Pond because it's completely flat. So I just had 30 minutes sort of on the schedule. So we went down there and rolled around sort of 4:11s for 30 minutes, and she was able to, she was in front of me for most of it because she, was like, oh, this is a race. Come on, why are you so slow, Dad? That was fun actually. Like first time sort of out with your kid when she's on a bike. Like it was great. I loved it. Probably ran a bit faster than I would have if I.
Yeah.
if I run
I was
just
going to say
by
that.
myself.
Is that why you ran so fast?
Yeah,
Trying to keep up with her.
Well, especially like I've been at work all day, and first K, like I know I normally run pretty quick anyway, but like first K was like 4:16, and it only goes from only goes one way from there. I think there's like a 4:05, maybe the second or third K in. But yeah, that was really fun.
This is just wholesome content. Don't move on too quick, Crooks. Seeing kids on Instagram, I had a crack at a few weeks ago, but this is what I mean. We need more of this stuff. How many pictures of Lilli do you see on, not on Instagram, on Strava, Ellie? This is a real rare treat for Crooks' followers, that when you see this, you go, oh, this melts my heart. Good work. Just, you know when to do it, Crooks.
I love the video.
I love it too. This is just melting my heart watching this. This is a very special day for you and your family, Bradley.
Thanks, Brady. Well, for me, like I don't post.
Piggy's old enough to do that.
Yeah, give her some gels and stuff.
Yeah. Like I don't post a lot on Instagram or Facebook, and so I felt like this was just a good opportunity to sort of document it. Like oh, okay, like if I ever want to go, oh, Lil, like when did you first sort of come for a ride with me when I was running? And like we'll definitely do more of this. I think I'll sort of turn this into my regular sort of Thursday. Like after she finishes school, we'll go down and do an easy ride or run around the pond, and maybe just slowly increase the distance of it. But she had a great time.
Special moment, I love it.
Shout out to Viv as well, because Viv sort of came because I wasn't sure how she'd go, so I'm like, Viv, just want to come down in case because it's about 4K around. So I thought if she cracks it after one lap, at least Viv's there to look after her while I do the next sort of 15 minutes. So shout out to Viv for coming down, but she was fine for the whole 30. And then Friday morning, because we've sort of split now, like Canberra Marathon's 8 weeks away, so the guys and girls that are training for Canberra now are starting to do sort of different stuff to the rest of the group. And so Zach, who I've been doing most of my sessions with, he's training for Canberra, so he had his first sort of intro to marathon sort of session. It was a 3x5K off a 3-minute jog. So I was in two minds. It's like, do I just go and do my own session, which would have been like a 30-minute sort of tempo with some fartlek thrown in? But I'm like, you know what? I've been doing a lot of higher intensity stuff. I feel like 3x5K off 3 minutes jog, it's not getting to the close to the fire from like, you need to be super marathon fit to do it. And also from a coaching point of view, I just wanted to see how, like trying to work out what his marathon pace is, just to see how he was feeling. Like we think, sub sort of we can get him in sub sort of 2:30 shape. So we just wanted to see what that felt like. So I jumped in with him, and this was the first time I wore the Super Comp Elite version 4. They arrived like on the Thursday, so shout out to Jules and Bree. Put them on and love them. Like as I said before, like definitely the most comfortable racing shoe I've had. I think mainly because they're so stable, Ellie. That's the thing I loved about them, whereas I've had some of the other shoes on where I just feel really sort of unstable, particularly in the mornings when I'm maybe not moving quite as well. And for me, like I was rolling sort of 327s to 328s for like all of the 5K reps, and it just felt so smooth at that. So, session went 17:21 for the first 5K, 17:16, 17:13. So that's all sort of between 327, 328K pace. The jogs were 350K pace, so averaged 329s for just over 16 and a half. Took like a gel before we started and took one halfway through the second 5K rep. So I was really happy with how that session went. I think like I'm definitely not marathon fit. I could probably have done one more. But it was nice. It was really fun because I've been doing so much quicker stuff that when you drop back to like roughly marathon pace, you're like, man, this session feels so fun. So it sort of made me want to get back into a bit of marathon training again.
Yeah, marathon sessions are fun, aren't they?
They are, especially once I find the middle, like the first rep, you're always like, oh, I've still got like so much running to go. Am I sort of in the right effort? And then I find once you get the first rep out of the way, the second rep generally feels like the best. And then obviously the longer the session goes, and it becomes like a little bit more of a grind. But it was a perfect day. Like if you got these weather conditions on race day, you'd be very happy. It was probably like 11 degrees, no wind, like very low humidity. It was perfect.
How many weeks till Gold Coast, Croaks? Is that the one at the back of your mind?
No, it's not. But speaking of, I've booked flights for Gold Coast. I've already booked because of all the the debacle last year with flights being cancelled on Friday and Saturday, I'm actually going up on Wednesday this year. Got super cheap flights to go up on Wednesday, so Viv gave me the leave pass. So, yep, all booked.
Viv's not coming. Bring Viv up. Bring her up as well.
No, we had that issue a couple of years ago where it was just like the kids were. It just wasn't that much fun. No, I liked what Moose said about. Was it? He reckons he's not travelling until they're 5. I reckon 5's a good age.
Yeah, just leave them at home for the weekend.
To the Gold Coast, you can. Gold Coast is pretty easy with kids, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all right. But like we found a couple of years ago, it's like because they were at an age where everything we do at home, or everything basically they were too young to go to all of like the theme parks and stuff like that. So it's like, well, everything we're doing right here on the Gold Coast, we could just do at home.
Yeah, you're just going to local playgrounds and stuff. Yeah, it did rain for like 4 days straight as well.
It did, yeah. But when they're a bit older, it's like, okay, we can go to, all the theme parks and do a bit more stuff.
Hey, just on the Gold Coast, I had a meeting about it the other day. You
can't swim in an outdoor pool in July.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. If you're going to the Gold Coast, just keep that Sunday afternoon free. Big things locked in the other day. Can't say too much now. You might know about it, Croaks, but there's going to be some good stuff happening at the Gold Coast.
Yep, looking forward to it.
That's why you're booking your flights early.
Yep.
If I miss my flight again on Sunday, I'll be there, Brady.
No, fly back Monday. Now, you might be at the Olympics or something. You might not be there. But yeah, don't book a flight for Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I won't. Or if I do, I'll get there on time this year.
So then Saturday, because the Friday session was so long, so was it 3.5K warm up, 16.5K, and a couple of K cool down, and my cap's about 100K. It meant Saturday didn't need to be a very long run. Oh, actually, the other thing, so when I finished that session on Friday, I had no pain whatsoever running. And then literally 2 minutes after I stopped, I felt the side of my hip. And I'm like, it feels like I've gone to town with the massage gun in the side of my hip. And it was like super tender to like touch. And it's actually still quite tender to touch, but it doesn't hurt at all when I run. I've got a feeling it's probably some like glute med tendony type stuff, but it was really bizarre because there was no sensation, no awareness, anything when I was running. And then as soon as I finished, I'm like, why is my hip sort of touch? But anyway, ran Saturday.
The glute meds probably hadn't done a 16.5K session for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Fatigued.
Yeah. Went out Saturday. I was umming and ahhing. It's like, should I take the day off? But I couldn't feel anything when I was running. Average 4:15s for 35 minutes. And then, Sunday we had a pretty good group again. It's like 7 of us or so. I did 2 hours, 4:12s, and that was a week of 104K.
Good week.
So,
when's the doctor this week?
Yeah, Wednesday. Fly down Wednesday morning, fly back Wednesday night. And do some testing in between,
Hopefully some good news
hopefully,
there.
Hopefully everything looks normal when I do this max test, and I get the okay to, I don't know, like do a little bit more.
Back up to 160.
Yeah.
So what will you do if they say, you can increase it? What's your plan?
Probably go
Ballarat Marathon?
Are you just waiting?
Ballarat Marathon, no. Probably sit at 120 to 130 for like a good chunk of time. And so the only real change for me would be probably running every day instead of 6 days a week, increasing a few of my like 35-minute runs to an hour, possibly like one double. But I think 120 to 130 would get me like really fit over sort of all distances, other than the marathon. But then at some point, hopefully start like a bit more of a marathon specific block.
If they say all good Wednesday, will you just go down a park run this Saturday and just blast one?
I will. I do want to do. Yeah, I do want to do a 5K in the next like month. I'm just going to wait till the weather cools down a bit, so it's a bit more of a true reflection of where I'm at. Because then that'll also help me just with sort of gauging some training paces, especially if I'm going to go back to being a bit more of that conservative sort of Norwegian, 6-minute reps at 60-minute pace and 3-minute reps sort of 4 to 5 seconds a K faster. So I think, having a better idea of where I'm at, which like, I don't know, I reckon I'd probably be probably just under 15, somewhere between 15 and 15:30, I'm guessing.
Get your mate to like 25, 30K of Canberra Marathon.
No, I'm on drinks duties. I have
yeah.
a few athletes, so I always hand out the drinks at Canberra.
You can't favour one athlete either.
No, that's right. But no, everything's tracking well.
What about something like Sydney 10?
Oh yeah, Sydney 10 definitely. Like if I get the okay to start racing, that would definitely be on the calendar. Which I think it's a bit later this year. It used to be like first weekend in May, but I think they've got that. It used to be the Sydney Morning Herald half. That used to be late May, and Sydney 10 was at the start. But the that half marathon now, which I don't know if it's Hoka half.
It
that's
is.
now like the first weekend in May. So I think they've pushed Sydney 10 back to late May.
I'll whisk it through this
But
week.
that's on the calendar, Ellie, for sure.
Ready for this, Croaks?
Yep.
Monday, nice and easy. 8K in the morning, 7K in the afternoon. Just off the back of that bigger workout and the car trip home from Albert Park on the Sunday. Tuesday, 16K in the morning, 8K in the afternoon, easy. Wednesday, I had the same thing as you, Ali. I want to do something a bit quicker, make marathon pace feel a bit easier, just sharpen up a bit. That was the purpose for me on Wednesday. So I met up with Archie and we did 12 by 800 metres off 60 seconds walk. It was good having a walk recovery. I don't think, maybe other than the one, the only other time I've done this is when I was down with Moose doing those 3K reps. I think everything else has been like jog or float. So 60 seconds still goes pretty fast off some 800s. We worked into it, started around like 304, 305 pace, and then kind of cut it down as we went. We went 227, 27, 25, 28, 23, 24, 22, 21. That's where I got dropped by Archie in that one, I reckon. And then 20, 18, 19, 15. It was good. I also wanted then straight road too. I think it was pretty accurate. We just kind of did 3 down a straight road, turn around, went back up again. I also wanted to, it's good training with Archie because he's like a 29-minute low guy, probably half my age. So it was good to get dropped and actually have to dig pretty deep to hang on. I feel with a lot of the marathon stuff we've been doing, it's very much controlled. And especially when you're doing a lot of stuff solo, no one's dropping you. So, it was good to kind of practice that mental stuff. I often count, when I'm, getting dropped and just trying to hang on and just count to 10, start again, count to 10, stuff like that I haven't been doing in workouts to kind of practice. So, that was a fun workout. Haven't run that fast in, a few weeks or a few months probably. In the afternoon, did 7K on the treadmill. Thursday, 70 minutes in the morning, and then 7K in the afternoon on the treadmill again. It's been pretty hot up here, so a lot of treadmill doubles this week. Friday morning, 22K in the morning at 3:59s. Then Saturday was when I did the strides in those new shoes, which I liked. That was, I know it's always fun putting on new shoes and seeing how they go. 7K in the treadmill Saturday night as well. And then Sunday, met up with Archie again. We did about 20K at 3:55 pace. And then I changed into the Alpha Fly 3s. And I did 4K, 3K, 2K, 1K. And I had 2 minutes jog between the 4 and the 3K. And the 3 and the 2K. And then 90 seconds jog between the 2K and the 1K at the end there. It's funny, these workouts, sorry.
I was just going to say, what were you, going into it, what were you thinking you wanted the pace or effort or whatever to be?
I wanted to run my goal marathon pace, which I think is going to be that 3:17, 3:18. And I just got rolling a bit quicker and then just kind of kept it there. So it was kind of
didn't go a single K at that.
Yeah, I know. I was actually got to the 2K and I'm you know what, just nail both these ones at 3:17 and practice running that pace. But I went, about 3:13, 3:14 for most of them. And then I ran 3:06 for the last K. I felt pretty good though. Even my
Brady, I reckon your marathon pace is fast. So it's interesting because I reckon Moose would say that his marathon pace is probably quicker than 3:17s. He's probably thinking more 3:15, 3:16 based on the pace that he's been doing. Well, his 14K on the weekend. And you're saying that you're...
Yeah, can I say though, Brad, before that 14K, he told us he was going to run 3:19s.
Okay.
And practice locking into marathon pace, and I bet him a slab that he wouldn't run 3:19s because I knew that he wouldn't. And he didn't. He ran 3:16s. But I reckon that's more
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because there was a listener question that came in ages ago, and it was I'll maybe find it for a bit later, but it was directed at me, basically saying, will Brady and Julian like run together? And so, like, do you reckon that your goal marathon pace for Osaka is pretty much identical?
You're talking about a guy who has had a lot of success over the marathon distance and a guy who has found it extremely challenging, even though he often goes into marathons in pretty good fitness. So, like, I want to squash that, like, head-to-head thing straight away because he's in a completely different league of me and I fully respect what he's done over the distance in the past. I think our general fitness is in a very similar spot. I won't be running, if I'm running with him, I'll be running about 2 steps behind him because he doesn't like people. I've annoyed him a bit when I've been doing workouts with him recently, so I want to get out of his way. But he's very, very smart as well, as in the way he's going to pace it and the way he'll progress it. So it could be a perfect opportunity for me to get a ride with someone I know pretty well and someone who's pretty smart, who's going to execute a pretty good race on race day.
So what do you think your range would be in terms of what's the fastest you'd go through half and what's the slowest you'd go through half?
And that's the thing, like our goals are so different. Like if I go to Osaka and run 2:19:30, that's a huge win for me. Like it's I think I can go quicker and I still think that breakthrough is there, but to run a PB is something that especially because I haven't ran that fast since 2019, I think. Like it's been a long time since I dipped under 2:20 and I've only ever done it once. Whereas
you reckon you'd be stoked with 2:19:30? Like I know it's
Matt,
I know it's a PB, and I know you need to be happy, but
yeah.
I personally think that you're better than that.
I do as well, but I know what happens if you don't run a PB. Like I've had some terrible experiences where it's like you got to dig really deep to finish, and you're bleeding like 20 seconds a K over the last 5K. Yeah. So it's like I'll be happy. I wouldn't be content with that still being my PB for the rest of my life. Yeah, it'd be a step in the right direction. But I think Valencia taught me that, 68 low is too hot. I remember when I did Melbourne and we went through like 70, 70-10.
What's 68 low? Sorry. What's 68 low for...
pace-wise,
pace.
I think it was like 3:12, 3:13, so it was probably just a bit too hot. At the time, I felt good because I ran 65 not long before it, so I was like 3 minutes slower than my best and felt fine, but obviously the legs broke down from like 36, 37K onwards, and I had to just get to the finish line. So I think, somewhere around 69.10, 69.20 sets you up if you're going all right to bring it home and put a 2:18 next to your name. If not, still gives me breathing space to maybe slow a bit and run 2:19:30 and come home with a PB.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So good. Somewhere around
that.
So
that's like 3:18 pace.
Yeah, 3:17, 3:18. I think, anywhere between 16:25, 16:30 for 5Kers. I should be very comfortable at, and just hope the legs are there and the mind in the back half. Well, in the back half, I'm really probably just talking the last 10K, really. Like, I think I could get to 30K at that pace, 32K at that pace without, being a massive overachievement of my fitness or anything like that. Should be fairly simple to execute, get the nutrition in, all that kind of stuff.
Be interesting to see whether the gym work has helped.
Yeah, and the hills early in the block as well.
Yeah.
Like I did 7 weeks of hilly long runs before I went into the marathon block. So, time will tell.
I reckon that's going to be the key for you. I reckon that will have conditioned you for that last bit. And then I also think with the training you've done, 3:17, 3:18 is going to feel good.
Oh, and Sunday, this was it was 22 degrees and 18K an hour winds. Like it was not ideal running. It was 22 degrees when we started, I think. So, or maybe 20. But it would have definitely been, like, I was just thinking, if I can run this, 3:15 pace pretty comfortable, my heart rate just getting over 160 in 22 degrees and wind solo, I'm like, put me in 5 degrees and with a pack, 3:17 should feel pretty good.
What's your threshold heart rate?
Don't know that, to be honest. I haven't been in the lab for a long time. But, I started...
That's pretty low.
Yeah, I don't know. I hit 170 that day with those 3Kers with Moose. That last one, I think I got up to like 172.
But you were running 3-minute pace.
Yeah, that was only 10 seconds. I was running 252s, I think, Ellie, if we're going by GPS data. But So, I must get in the lab. Might be next build-up, get some data. But that was 164K. Let's taper time. Let's get to some news, Croaks.
Good week.
Yeah, it was good. looking forward. I feel like, I think one thing I've done well this build up as well is recovered better. Like it's been perfect with the school holidays that I've just been able to, be working from home, like with my legs up on the couch, and then just not have that stress of being on my feet for 8 or 9 hours a day, and just trying to like eat more and be hydrated and little things like that. So it's been ideal when you're on holidays.
This week's episode of the Inside Running Podcast is proudly sponsored by On. Confidence boosted, the new Cloudrunner 2. The legend leveled up. With more support, more comfort and more cushioning for more fun on every run. For professional athletes and new runners alike, our Helion Super Foam is a game changer. The upgraded midsole provides softer cushioning and higher energy return, plus CloudTech cushioning to absorb impact, so you can keep racking up the miles with confidence. From toe to heel, each element of the Cloudrunner 2 is designed to support your foot during movement. A plush tongue means total comfort and easy step in, while a durable heel clip helps to lock in extra stability and support. Visit on.com or your specialty running store to grab your pair today.
Patreon strokes, let's thank some.
So I got Liam Ryan this week. I've been coaching Liam since the end of 2018. He lives in Canberra. He came to me after he ran like 3:10 in Melbourne and he wanted to sort of get under 3 hours. His marathon PB now is 2:39, which he set in Canberra in 2022. He's also run 16:33 at last year's Stromlo 5K, 34:40 at the 2022 Canberra Times 10K, and 75 minutes at the 2021 Western Creek Half. Works for ACT Health. Big Carlton fan, and he's building back after having surgery on his ankle to fix an old footy injury. And I reckon, Brady, you met him after your pacing gig in Sydney. I reckon you may have got a photo with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the finish line? Do you know where?
No, I think it was when near sort of Centennial Park and stuff when you pulled out.
Oh, yeah. Took hours to get back to the finish line that day. Hey, that's some good coaching from you. Come to you, want to break 3 hours, runs 2:39.
Yeah, but he was one of those guys. I think it was his first marathon, and I looked at his training, and it's like, barely ran over 2 hours, and it's those sort of, you look at it and go,
I can work with you.
Yeah, and then
layup.
pretty much. And then he sort of just progressed. Like he went and did New York and ran under 3 there, and just slowly progressed over 3 years or so. Yeah.
Good on you, Liam.
And hopefully, like 2:39 in Canberra is worth a few minutes somewhere else. So
big year coming up for his footy team as well, Carlton. They should win the flag. Big hopes on them. Ellie, who are you thanking?
Go Blue. I'm thanking Hugh Lacey from Fairfield in Victoria. So he's run 16:02 at the Richmond Harriers 5K, 33:13 Albert Park 10K, and 2:40 at the Gold Coast Marathon in 2022. Store operations director at Aldi. So Hugh is a run strong athlete coached by Blake Hose, and he's a bit of a regular at Surf Coast Track Club runs. So he comes down to Anglesey quite a lot on the weekends and runs with us, and he is a great bloke, Hugh. Couldn't meet a nicer guy.
And that's his job, like Coach says, think he might be store operations director at Aldi, but that's his official title.
I don't know the exact title, but I know that he works at Aldi and wears a suit.
Big dog at Aldi.
So he's got a good job at Aldi, yeah.
Good stalking from me then, hey?
Have you guys tasted that new beer they've got? Aldi IPA, where they did that collaboration with Moondog. Is it Moondog? Not Moondog, Brewdog up in Queensland. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
I think it started like a Twitter back and forth, and then they end up like creating a beer together. They've got this, it's cheap. It's like a craft beer. Yeah, it's like $12 for a 4-pack, but it's really good.
Oh, wow.
I reckon Hugh be putting a few of
when
those
Monk
down.
Life is over, I'll try one.
Ask him to drop a few 4-packs down next time you see him when you're running down there. I'm going to thank Mitchell Dixon. He's from Penrith. According to Strava, these are his best times. 5K 17:39, which came during last year's Thirlmere Huff and Puff race. He's also ran 38:58 for 10K at the recent Sun Run over the hills there. So that's pretty solid. 89 minutes for the half at Sydney Marathon Clinic race in 2022, and 3:26 for his one and only marathon, which was Sydney last year. Looks like a pretty smooth mover, according to his Strava photos, and we're pretty sure he may be in the Defence Force. So thanks, Mitchell, for your support of the Inside Running podcast. Hugh, Liam, all the Patreon supporters over there. If this show brings you value, you can support us for as little as $5 a month. I reckon the content we put out last week was worth $5 a month, don't you, Croaks? Reese and Moose for 1 hour, talking deep in training. We got Christian from Norway explaining the whole Norwegian training model, which we had to sit through twice because my computer shut itself. You got Ellie Pashley, potentially a 2-time Olympian, on the show this week for 1.5 hours. We're going to talk about all these things. So if you think it's worth $5 a month, the content we put out there every month, you can sign up at patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast. Keeps the lights on, keeps us being able to do cool projects, and keeps us going week in, week out, which has been now for 328 weeks. Let's go to running news. Ellie, you're kicking us off. Vic Miles Club. Do you love it as much as your coach does? Tune into this stuff?
Well, I actually do. I missed this one, but I often watch Vic Miles Club, and I think, I don't know, we're still saying it on the podcast, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of watching the K races and some of the stuff you see going on there. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it means I don't have too much going on in my life, but I'll happily sit there with Vic Miles Club on the TV for 8 hours straight. So the Vic Mile Champs happened last week. Luke Burrows took the win in 4:07.09. Daniel Williams was second, 4:07.82, so pretty close there. Riley Bryce third, 4:08. And then in the women's race, Melissa Duncan, another win for her, so 4:43. Lucy Cleveland, 4:53, and Eleanor Benson in third with 4:55. And the New South Wales 5K Champs also happened on Saturday night in Sydney, I believe, was it?
Yeah, it was at the warm-up track at Homebush.
Homebush, yeah, cool.
A bit wet.
So I heard it was a bit warm and windy. A guy that I coach was running, and he said it was pretty tough conditions. But in the women's race, Jenny Blundell took the win in 15:40. So we haven't probably heard much from Jenny for a while. So good to see her back. Paige Campbell, I think, has also been maybe struggling with injuries, but she's obviously back too. I think she's been training up at Perisher, 15:44, and Gabrielle Schmidt in third with 16:23. I've got a feeling she's
Queensland.
Is she a junior?
Yeah, junior.
Oh,
Queenslander as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. The men's race, Ethan Wyatt-Smith took the win in 14:19.3. Stefan Music was second in 14:19.7, and Connor Latouf was third in 14:20. So well done to all those guys.
Croaks, why are we putting this on the same night as the Adelaide Invitational? I didn't even know it was on. Can't have a state meet on the same night as a national meet.
Yeah, I don't know though. But who does their calendars
different audiences,
first?
but when you're trying to attract eyeballs, was there a live stream?
No. So the way that the New South Wales, because I saw a few people commenting going, "Oh, why isn't there a live stream anymore?" But their system's pretty good, where within 5 minutes of the race finishing, there's like a video. Like there's the race splits for every person, and you can watch the whole replay of the video, which, it's maybe not the same as watching something live, but we're talking it's, within a couple of minutes. So I guess if you could maybe just cover up the results and then just click on the video and watch that before you see the results, it's pretty close.
You would think if they have the capacity to do that, it must be very close to being able to live stream it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think
you've got the equipment there, you're taping it, and you can get it up on the internet in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I saw something from
live.
Matt Whitbread, though, said that it definitely was more labour-intensive having a live stream element versus having this uploaded within like a few minutes of the race finishing.
Has it got commentary on the uploaded one?
Yeah, it did. It had the ground commentary. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Maybe it's just like bandwidth.
Yeah, well, if you click on that link there, Brady, that on the show notes, that'll show you how the setup.
Yeah, I will check that out. Before I move on to the Adelaide Invitational news, Kipchoge has put something on his Instagram. I am deeply saddened by the tragic passing of the marathon world record holder and rising star Kelvin Kiptum, an athlete who had his whole life ahead of him to achieve incredible greatness. I offer my deepest condolences to his young family. May God comfort you during this trying time. So good to see him come out with that statement. But people in the comments are going pretty hard on him. You never congratulated him, now you do. The first 5 or 6 comments here. It took you forever to give the young champ his flowers when he was still alive. A few hours to send your condolences. Cringe. Yeah, people getting into him there. But anyway, that's the internet world. Adelaide Invitational. This was Saturday night. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Ali, you want something to say?
well, it's not Kipchoge's responsibility to be, posting that.
No.
Sending condolences. Like, that's just a nice thing that he's done, but he didn't have to do that.
Yep, Adelaide Invitational. This happened Saturday night. Good channel 7, 2, mate, something like that. It's good to be able to just click on the app
7
on the
plus.
TV, 7 plus, to be able to watch this. Had to remember my signing details because I probably haven't signed into that for a few years. But we got there. Bruce McAvaney on the mic, Jess Stenson on the ground. Dave Colbert, you could hardly hear the whole coverage because it was like his microphone wasn't plugged in. You have the same issues that you're in, Crux? I
definitely noticed that Bruce was, significantly louder
it was weird.
than what Dave was. Yeah.
Yeah. This steeples, tell me what you think about these steeples. Women go first, 5 in it, 5 finishes. Cara Fan Ryan, she got the win, 7:42. Nearly...
Sorry, 9:42.
Sorry, 9:42.
Yeah, that'd be like a massive world record.
I was thinking that was pretty quick. It was a meet record though, I reckon.
It was.
Stella Radford was second in 9:49, and Brielle Erbacher was third in 10:07. Ed Trippus got the win, 8:32. He looked good too. He put in a huge move with 600 metres to go. I reckon he could have went quicker than that. I reckon he could have ran 8:27, 8:25 on the night if it was a bit faster paced and he maybe made his move a bit earlier. There was an Ethiopian in the field. He was second. Gudafe Adunwa. He ran 8:40. Liam Cashin from Victoria was third, and there were only 3 finishes. Matthew Clark, the hometown hero from Adelaide, pulled out, and there was another fella in the field as well who also pulled out. So I'm watching this at home Saturday night. It's like prime Netflix time. These races, steeples go for a long time. Like, you're committing to like 10 minutes. So 2 races, 20 minutes. And you're looking at a field with 5 finishes and 3 finishes. I was just like, is this a bit of a waste of time having these? I know they've got to run the steeples somewhere, but I thought maybe it could have been a 3K flat or a 5K flat and just fill the field. It's a lot easier than seeing 3 people finish in this is a big meet, national meet. Thoughts?
It's probably good for them to get points.
Points, yeah.
I know, but sad way to get them, a bit of a cheap way to get them, isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if there's a rule on how many people have to be in the race for you to
good
get
thinking.
points.
So that was kind of...
Wonder why Matt Clark DNF'd. Did he hurt himself or something?
No, he just seemed to walk off the track. He did a bit of leading early on, and he didn't look that comfortable, and then just pulled out. So you'd have to check that points thing because you think finishing 4th would have still been some decent points.
Do you reckon the steeple, in 15 years' time, do you reckon the steeple will still be around?
Yes. I think the Olympics saves it and World Champs save it. But it's dying a slow death in Australia, isn't it? In smaller countries.
I find it hard to get into, largely because, there's not that many in the field. The lap splits don't mean much to me because they're not running. It's more or less. It's more or less than 400, depending on where the water jump is. But
I get excited about it at the Olympics. It's one of the most exciting events to watch, I find, globally, but just not in Australia.
Yeah, even then, it's like take it or leave it. The steeple. Yeah, Sean Crichton won't like me saying that.
Yeah, your mate Sean Crichton will hate that. It's amazing to think. What's his Australian record?
8:16.
16. He's putting a bit of time into these fellas. Running 8:32. 1500 metres was good. Cam Myers, your boy Croaks up there in Canberra, 3:34.55. Jesse Hunt from the On Athletics Club was second in 3:35.7. Jai Edwards was third in 3:36.2. He is a very, very impressive racer, Cam Myers Bradley. His move from 400 metres to go to 200 metres to go just blew the whole race apart. I didn't put a stopwatch on it, but I reckon that was quicker than his final 200 metres. When that guy got rolling, he got rolling, and no one could even get close to him. So impressive.
The way he does it, it doesn't even look like he really changes stride much. No. It's not like there's a real... Yes, he's picked up the pace, but it looks real subtle.
Yeah.
Super impressive. And I tell you what, I cannot wait for the Maurie Plant Mile because you've got Cam Myers. We'll chat about Peyton Craig in a minute. So you've got 2 youngsters who are absolutely killing it versus 2 seasoned professionals in Stewie and Jake Whiteman. It's going to be so good.
He's got more to come too. When Edwards went to the front, I'm going to say maybe 700 out to to 450 metres out. Like, it looked like it slowed quite significantly. And, like, if that was still going quick, I reckon he could have ran 332, 333.
Don't sleep on Jai either. Like, he had surgery in, I'm going to say, September on his Achilles.
He's got plenty of time, doesn't he?
Give him another couple of months and he's just going to get faster and faster as well.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Well, he's going pretty well, 3:36.
Yeah, first up.
5 months after Achilles surgery.
In Adelaide. Like, when do people ever run quick in Adelaide too? Not known for fast times. The women's, talking about impressive juniors, Claudia Hollingsworth, 4:04, under 20 Australian record. Woody Skyring, she was second in 4:07. There was an Ethiopian here as well, Aeneas Mebratu. She was third in 4:08. Claudia's the same. It's not until you look at the other people around her do you realise she's putting a kick on. Weird race. Woody Skyring kind of went hard with like 430 metres to go, and then looked like she was battling with like 250 metres to go. So she just kind of got her move a bit wrong there. But Claudia, so impressive the way she powers away. I think she'll break 4 minutes this season as well when she gets challenged.
Yeah, with how easy she made that look, you think, God, she's surely got, if she had like, Abby or Lyndon or Jess or someone just in front of her, there's no doubt she could get a few seconds off that pretty easily, I reckon.
And before Morty took the lead, Claudia was already in the lead. So, like, I think if she can get a sit with a Lyndon or a Jess Hull or someone like that until, 250 metres to go and then just go all out, she's got to run pretty fast. She's also in action, I think, too.
Teenagers are killing it.
Yeah, teenagers. Buy some stock in some of these teenagers. Tell you about another one in the 800 metres. Peyton Craig, talking about him. No one's mentioned him in the last 6 years of this show until 3 weeks ago. Now we're talking about him every week. He ran another under 20 Australian record. He ran a 1:45.4 and he beat a whole lot of good 800 metre runners. Joey Deng was there. Compare their last 200 metres. Peyton got away from him. Joey Deng, I think, come in like 7th or 8th or something like that. Yeah, so he put 4 seconds in on him in 200 metres. James Preston was a bit out in front, and then, Peyton Craig pulled him in. He was second in 1:45.5. Jack Lunn was third, 1:46.6. This guy's a beast. He has some beastly instincts that you just can't teach people. He's got some real mongrel in him, this kid. When we were talking about Ali before at the World Cross Country Champs, Croaks, this is stuff you cannot teach. He probably comes off a farm himself. I'm not sure what his background is, but he has got some grit about him, this boy, and he is going to cause some damage in the years to come as well. Thoughts?
100% Brady. He is a true, he's just a true racer. It doesn't matter who's in front of him, he finds a way to get past them just before the finish line. Because it looked with 80 to go, it's like, the gap's probably a bit too much. And then it doesn't look pretty, but he, as you said, he's just got that mongrel and that fight and that competitive instinct that he's like, I'm not going to let that guy in front of me beat me. And that's why I also can't wait because, you look something like Cam Myers, he's a great racer. And then you put these two together, it's going to be good on Thursday night.
Women's 8.
So how old's Peyton?
I think he's a year older than Cam, so I think he must be 18. I think he's just
wow.
Yeah, I think he just missed out on qualifying for World Juniors, Peyton.
No, didn't this count as a qualifier?
I don't.
Still under 20.
Yeah, I don't think he's qualified for. I'll find out what his age is.
Tabi won't be happening. You don't know these. Won't be happy. You don't know these stats, Croaks.
Yeah, I got a feeling he just missed out. But anyway,
I thought I read somewhere.
He's 18.
Yeah, so he'll be well under 20, isn't it? World Juniors.
Yeah, he'll be 19 in March.
Yeah, it's kind of right. Now the women's 8. This was the race of the meet. Everyone was thinking. It was loaded. Abby Caldwell, she made it look pretty easy in the end, considering how loaded this field was. Wasn't super fast. Maybe we were expecting a bit quicker. She ran 2:08. Bindiri Aboya was second. She ran 2:02.5. Lyndon Hall third, 2:02.5 as well. But Abby, she streaked him here. She, kind of a massive win in an 800 metre race, I guess. I was expecting it to be way closer. But I think a few rust busters for a few people. Did this guys live up to? Were you thinking the same? Were you like, come on, this is going to be a great race, and then it kind of like Abby just brained him, flop?
I mean, I think 2 flats pretty good for the first race of the season. Like, I think we're getting a bit used to the sub 2s, but you know, it wasn't that long ago that no one had broken 2 for years and years. So I thought, she looked awesome. She looked like she did that easily.
She did, didn't she?
Beating, Bandiri, Linden, Katrina Bissett was in it, Morgan Mitchell. Like, that was a strong field, and she just smoked them. So, yeah, that's exciting. Like, it'll be so good to see what she does this year, I reckon, Abby.
Yeah.
And interesting, like, you know, obviously 1,500 seems to be maybe her preference these days, but, like, she's still a bloody good 800-metre runner, so it'll be interesting to see the direction those girls all go.
I'm also really excited to see what Bandiri O'Boyer can do. Like, maybe not this season, but underneath Craig Mottram, because just with her pure 400-metre speed, plus just her build, I feel like if she can just develop a little bit of aerobic capacity, she's going to run a super fast 800. So I think she's one to watch definitely over the next 6 months if she can just get a little bit stronger. Because I watched her race Kat Bissett in the 400 in Canberra, and like Bandiri was so far in front, and we're talking like of the national 800-metre record holder. So it's like if you can just develop a little bit of aerobic conditioning, you'd think, you know, she can run 155, 156 off what she's run for 400. So, and yeah, you're right about Peyton. He will qualify. It was Ben Thomas I was thinking about that just missed out on qualifying for World Juniors from an age perspective.
That 400, 800 conversion doesn't always work though.
No, it doesn't.
It's not as simple as that, is it?
No, it's not. And as I said, like, yeah, the proviso here is that Bandiri does, just get aerobically stronger.
Which you'd think that's the direction Mottram would have, like, he'd just default to. That's how he's going to coach.
Yeah, because I heard somewhere that she's, up to like 90-minute long runs.
Really?
Which that's, I don't know whether that's true. That was my whisper for the week.
Good whisper, Alex.
But if that's true, that is going to develop some strength. Because I wouldn't imagine like Kat Bissett does 90-minute long runs.
I think.
I don't reckon many 800-metre runners.
Lyndon Hall doesn't she? I think.
Yeah, she would. Yeah.
But she's a 1,500.
Yeah.
She's a 1,500-metre runner.
I think Zachy gets dropped by him every Sunday. They roll like 4-minute K pace.
Yeah.
Milrose Games, Croaks. Did you watch this before work?
No, I didn't. I just saw all the results. So we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago with the fields that, in the 2 mile, Josh Kerr was going to have a crack at the world record. And he did break that world record indoors or short course. He ran 8 flat 0.67, which the old record was 8:03, held by Mo Farah. Grant Fisher was second in 8:03, and Cole Hocker was third in 8:05. Geordie Beamish finished fourth in 8:05.73, which was a national record for New Zealand, and Morgan McDonald broke the Aussie record running 8:12. So some good results there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you thought, Brady?
Yeah, I'm just Beamish, George Beamish, just looking at him. He just seems to be getting better and better, doesn't he? Like him and Morgan I had in the same category, but he's starting to put a bit of time into Morgan. What's that, 7 seconds? How far off? This was going to be my Brady on the loose for later on. I'll go with it now though. But why do we have to have indoor, which is now called short track, and outdoor world records? Can we just have, this is the world record? This is the fastest a human has ran 2 miles. Because I actually still don't know. But Josh Kerr's world record, is that just the short course or is that the fastest ever?
No. So Jakob ran like 7:50 mid, maybe 7:50 something. Remember, he broke the world record outdoors.
Well, now you say it, I kind of remember, but I saw that when I woke up this morning. I saw that like it's everywhere, world record Josh Kerr, and I was like, oh, cool, Josh Kerr's broken the world record. But because it's a weird distance, 2 miles as well, and then they do this indoor outdoor stuff, I'm like, is that the actual? Like, I am the biggest runner nerd ever, and I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
So, explain that to the general public. I broke the world record, but someone is actually in this world run quicker than that world record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's kind of different though indoor. Like, there's banked tracks, they're all different, length. Like, I actually kind of understand. I just think probably it gets a bit ridiculous when you have records for distances like 2 miles as well, indoor and outdoor. Like, I
You
think
kind
there's
of get
more
it though
things
with the
that you can
history
sort
of 2 miles and miles. But yeah, it gets confusing because you're trying to remember all these records and you can't store them all in your brain, and it just starts getting confusing.
Yeah. So Jakob ran 7:54.10, which broke Daniel Coleman's record of 7:58.6, which, like, you know, so this is the third fastest time ever by Josh, like any 2 mile, which is pretty good because for a long time everyone thought that 2 mile record by Daniel Coleman was like untouchable at 7:58.6.
So Beamish was only 2 seconds off Craig Mottram's Oceania 2 mile record, which he set outside. So if we've got this whole like it's harder indoors, it's probably a better run than Mottram's.
Yeah, so Mottram's run 8:03.5 and Beamish was 8:05.73.
Yeah.
But so Beamish, I think
I don't know that it's necessarily harder indoors. Like, you look at the BU track and all the fast, like, people go there to try and get a 5K Olympic qualifier because it's so fast.
Kai Robinson's faster indoors than outdoors.
Well, you guarantee good weather too.
Yeah.
Isn't that your argument though, Ellie, that it's harder indoors? That's why we need separate records?
Well, no, I don't necessarily think it's harder. I just think it's different, and all the tracks are so different, and they're not like, you know how an outdoor track is just a flat 400 meters. Like, there's no, I guess sometimes the bends are a little bit sharper, aren't they? But like, I feel like indoor tracks, there's so much more variation. Does that make sense? Basically, I don't really know why anyone cares about the indoor records, but
so you reckon we just cut the indoor records? You can't get a record on that track. Well, our sport is so basic and boring.
But then I guess you can get a qualifier indoor.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So if I talked you into it, one set of records.
I don't know.
Our sport's so boring and basic as it is. Why do we need to then make it confusing as well? But Josh Kerr is good. He's good for the sport. He said he was going to win this, didn't he?
Yeah, world record. It was after the world record, got it.
See him at the Olympics.
Want to make a mile. So in the women's, Ellie St. Pierre, you remember last week Jess Hull got the better of her. But yeah, the places were switched this time around. So Ellie got the win there, 4:16.41, which was a US record. Jess broke her own. She just had a baby too. Yeah, was that like what? 8? Yeah, so within the last year or so.
Less than a year, I reckon.
Yeah, right. Jess 4:19.03, which took about 5 seconds off her own Australian record. And Susan Ijori from Kenya ran 4:20, which was a Kenyan national record. In the men's, Yared Nagus 3:47, Hobbs Kessler second 3:48, George Mills third in 3:48 high. Adam Fogg, some Aussies will sort of remember that name. He finished fourth in 3:49, so he's on the improve every sort of race, it seems. And Aussie Adam Spencer finished sixth in 3:52.
Jess Hull's indoor record's now 4 seconds slower than her outdoor record. For those people playing indoor-outdoor records at home, 4 seconds.
Yeah. And then
Jess Hull breaks a new national record every week.
Yeah. Mate, I hope they've got like clauses in their contract that every time you break a national record, you get paid.
They probably do.
Yeah, would they?
Maybe. I don't know.
You know this stuff, Ali. Would they have it in there?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh,
yeah.
So she's
I
just
think
like
most contracts would.
So like she'll get dropped down to do the 1K record, indoor, outdoor, good paydays.
And Brady, this is going to confuse you now because so you mentioned about Kai. So Kai Robinson won a 3,000 metre indoor race in 7:36.69. It was the second fastest 3,000 metre performance in collegiate history. In the collegiate record books, only Drew Bosley has gone faster in 3:36.42, though it also should be said that Robinson's mark came on an oversized 300 metre track at Washington, which means it won't officially stay in the record books.
Because it's 300 metres and not 200 metres.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's silly, isn't it?
So, yeah, that's going to confuse you even more.
It's too long of a short track.
Yeah.
But it's still 3,000 metres.
Yeah.
Look, unless you're running around the Chanel loop in Torquay, it should be counted, I reckon.
I think the main thing is we know
leave the Chanel loop.
We know that Kai's in shape. If he's running 7:36, like remember we're talking about, Stewie's broken 7:30 a few times, but it's not that far off. And then another Aussie record went down. Jack Anstey broke the 1,000 meter short track record, running 2:16.95 in Boston. For those playing the indoor, outdoor, short course, long course record, the outdoor record is held by Jeff Risley in 2:16.09, set in 2014.
So we've just read out 4 Australian records that aren't even the quickest an Australian has run that distance in. Correct?
Correct.
None of them are quicker than Australian records. My point stands. Get rid of just have one set of records. Stop confusing people.
Yeah.
Drug news, Croaks. This is big. This is really big.
Yeah, this is big. So Mo Katir, he's been suspended for whereabouts rule violation. So he hasn't tested positive to drugs. It's just that he's dodged the drug testers on multiple occasions. So I think it's basically 3 strikes and then you're suspended. So he said the suspension, which he'll appeal, stems from an administrative issue. So, we'll see how this one plays out, but it's not looking good for Mo. And, there's probably been a few whispers around the traps about Mo that his progression was maybe a bit too rapid.
He won't get that turned around. Will he in time? This is a slow process now for Mo Katir. He won't get that turned around in time for the Olympics.
Not sure how long that takes.
You wouldn't think so. Did you see?
Depends how many of the courts it has to go through. Probably.
Yeah.
I wonder what the administrative issue is.
The Guatemalan guy, is it Louis Gerv? You know the guy I'm talking about?
Gravelia.
Yeah. He put a good thing on his Instagram because he was 4th at the World Champs and Mo Katir was 3rd. He just said, we've got high standards. We're meant to be at these places we say we're meant to be at. Because it's an hour window, isn't it, Ali? You have to give them an hour where you're going to be every day.
Yeah,
So It wasn't just like they knocked on his door and he wasn't home. He'd said, this is where I'm going to be in this hour, and he hasn't been there 3 times.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good for Mo Katir.
I'm not on whereabouts anymore, but I've been on whereabouts. I actually think maybe you could accidentally miss it once, but if you'd missed a test, surely you would then be so onto it. I don't know. I just
especially when
I think
it's your job. It's your job. This is how you make a living.
Exactly.
It's like you need to be conscious of as you say. One, you go, okay, well, I've got two up my sleeve. But even if you had the second one, after that, you are not leaving it to chance.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, when you got travel and stuff, sometimes it's tricky. But it's so easy to update your whereabouts. It's on an app, And it become, he would have been on whereabouts for years. He knows every day you have to make sure you've got that down pat. And I just, I think after watching, that doco with the race walker, did you guys watch that? The Italian race walker?
I haven't watched it yet, though, on Netflix.
Yeah, you should watch it. Yeah. It's really good. But it just makes you think all these whereabouts violations are so dodgy, because he was saying how they, would use it when they knew they weren't going to test clean. He'd either say he was going to be somewhere where he wasn't, or if he thought testers might be on the way, he'd change his whereabouts at the last minute to a different country where he knew they wouldn't be able to reorganize it in time to get to him. So say he'd have it as Italy, and then he'd say, oh no, I'm actually in Germany at this address, but he'd do it in the last amount of time he could possibly change it. Or if he wasn't able to, he would actually just deliberately miss one and think, well, hopefully this doesn't happen 3 times, if he knew he was going to test dirty or whatever. So it's just, I don't know, Why
aren't you on the whereabouts anymore, Ellie? You're our top finisher at World Cross.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't really done that much since the Olympics. So I think I was on it up until, I reckon, maybe when I was pregnant I got cut, or just after I had Tiggy, and I haven't been, tested really since. So
you wouldn't be complaining about that, though, would you? It would be a bit of an inconvenience at times.
Yeah, it was a bit I didn't get tested a heap. They would often come down here at 6 a.m. It would probably be a little bit annoying with a baby, but. Yeah, no, I never minded it, because I was happy, if they're testing me, they're testing other people, I'd do whatever. I'd happily change the rules. exactly. If they said to us, we're going to take away the window, because you can't get tested between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So that's, I reckon, how so many people cheat in that time with microdosing. If they said to me, we're going to change the window and we might come to your house at 3 a.m., I would still rather that than what it is now where people can get away with it. So, yeah, I don't know. I think...
Well put.
Yeah.
Clean sport's important. Some quick more doping news before we go to Barcelona half. The current trail running world champion, Stian Engelmund, this weekend revealed that the bombshell news that he tested positive for a banned substance as well. After his OCC victory last August, he had a banned substance which was chlorothalidone. I'm not sure what that does, but it was in his urine sample. Has come out and said it was just not sure how this happened. His life's completely fallen apart and he's going to fight the cases. So big news in the trail world, which I do know very little about. He is from Norway though. So yeah, rare to hear doping news out of Norway. Barcelona half.
So I just looked it up.
Yeah.
It's a diuretic. So it reduces, so it basically makes you go to the toilet. So usually I think when people take diuretics,
it masks
it's to get drugs out of your system.
Yeah, okay.
So it says it's used to help lower blood pressure, so probably unlikely that he's got high blood pressure.
He won the titles in 2022 and 2023 as well, the trail running world titles. So we know that world's getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, he's tested positive. Barcelona half, last bit of running news. Jocelyn Jepkosgei, she got the win, 64.29, which is the sixth fastest all time. Kibi Candy, not in his usual Adidas shoes. I reckon he was in one of those Chinese brand strokes. He got the win in the men's at 59.22. Chris O from Norway, last week's guest host. He probably had a race he's not that happy with, 71.21. So the Norwegian model has not kicked in yet, but I reckon he'll keep grinding away, maybe a bit early for that to be working. And we'll see big things from him in 2024.
Yep. I don't think you'd be too happy. So a bit of a controversial one. Our DMs have been lighting up this week, Brady, about parkrun. So thoughts on parkrun no longer publishing course and age records, as well as a list of first finishes and sub 17-minute men and sub 20-minute women. Thoughts, Brady? Thoughts, Ellie?
Do you want me to read what they come out with, did? This was big crunch. I know you're like that while we're talking about this, but this has been huge news in the running world. Huge news. Got this from the BBC. Parkrun says it's removed data such as speed records from its website to be less off-putting to new entrants. It will no longer publish data including most first finishes, sub 17-minute men and sub 20-minute women, and age grade and category records. Parkrun says it's working to find ways to remove barriers to registration and participation. So that was the guts of it there. So I've lost my course record from a Chukamoa parkrun, guys, which I wasn't.
Is this why you care about this?
Well, I actually don't. My first instinct when I saw it was, I think, very similar to a lot of people's. I'm like, geez, parkrun's gone woke. You know, you can't offend anyone anymore without, running fast. And like, what's the world kind of come to? And then I got a lot of that. Yesterday I put up just a thing on my own personal Instagram, like how are people feeling about this? Because I was kind of hearing contrasting opinions on it. And a lot of people, I put a poll up as well. I think it was like 60%, 40%. People are like, yeah, we care about this, whereas 40% were like, could not care less. So this is important to people out there. The messaging, though, is very much like parkrun is not a race. It's about that, in trying to include as many people as possible. I know the argument to that is, well, why do they time it? Why do they hand out finishing tokens, things like that? But I think if parkrun had their time again, they were probably like, why are we putting this stuff on our website in the first place? And because it's so far from the direction and all their messaging that they come out with. But then I think what's happened is people love the concept, love parkrun. They travel around to different places in the world to do parkruns. They search for these age grades and these first finishes and things like that, that it's become a very big thing for some people. So to now take that away is where the controversy has hit home. So,
but
I can see why people are annoyed.
About.
Hey?
like that's not what parkrun's about. It was to try and get people running and exercising. Like that was the whole purpose of it. A free event. The times that people get is for their own, I ran 27 minutes last week and this week I ran 26:30. It's like it's not supposed to be a race. It's, just getting individuals out there exercising. So I think, yeah, like who cares, and good on them. And if you want to race, go to a fun run or a race. Like that's not what it's there for. And you can still do park runs and race the people around you or whatever. But, if you want your name on the website, do a fun run.
So by not celebrating, I guess, the faster finishes, are they now excluding them, in your opinion, to try to include people who may be intimidated to go to parkrun for the first time? So have they now gone to one market, but now they're going to lose a whole other market?
Yeah, but that wasn't their market that they were targeting originally. Like they didn't want elite athletes or, people who were there to race and run fast. Like that's not what it's about. So yeah, maybe they are. I mean, they're not excluding them. They're still welcome to go and do it. But those people don't need it. They've got races. They've got other stuff. The people that need parkrun are people that are too scared to go to a fun run because they don't feel comfortable, or they've never run before and they want to just go and walk a 5K and gradually start jogging. Like that's the purpose of parkrun. It's like a health initiative rather than
health, community building, wellness,
competitive. Yeah.
I do think, though, that I agree with you. I think parkrun would sit there and go, hey, this isn't our responsibility to be talking about records and fast finishes and stuff like that. That's athletics clubs, that's fun runs, that's road races. But I still think a lot of people would still fall into that boat where they maybe feel intimidated by athletics clubs or going to an athletics track or entering a major race, especially people in regional towns, when they get that out of parkrun. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, people love it. It's like a cult sometimes at parkrun. There's still, I think there's still a gap.
Time though, don't they?
Yeah, they'll still get a time. Yeah, I just don't think. I think they've very much moulded that to they think, or this is how they've got stuff out of parkrun, which is now going to disappear for them. I still think there's a gap between rocking up to, the Tiger 5K at the athletics track or the Collingwood Classic or things like that for those 19, 20-minute runners who want to be competitive.
But what about those people? Why don't they go and do the 5K at Run for the Kids?
Yeah, spot on.
Track obviously is. I completely understand how track is intimidating. But there are so many fun runs with 5K and 10K events, and that is exactly what they're there for. People that, they're there for beginner runners as well, but also if you want to go and do a race, but you don't want to do the 10K or the half marathon or the marathon, then yeah. And parkrun's still there for them. Like, they can still do it.
And it's a free
event. They're just not going to get a course record.
Run by volunteers, so they can kind of do whatever they want. Like, if you don't want to rock up, it's not like you can tear up your membership. You're not dipping into your pocket to pay for it. Well, some people do make donations, I think. I saw some people have stopped doing their monthly donations to parkrun out of outrage. And then it seems like huge in the UK with, I think, I want to get all this right, and obviously there's some sensitivity around it, the trans issue with, in parkrun you can identify with whatever gender you like, and then you can, I think there's 3 UK parkruns where a female course record holder was held by a biological male who identifies as a female, which then people are trying to put 2 and 2 together, and parkrun have come out and said, no, these plans were in the works for a long time. But then people start saying they're only taking these records away because they don't want to get into that whole political, which I'm sure, political situation, is that how to best describe it? Which they must be sitting there going, how have we even got to this level? Like, why are we in this conversation? We're just trying to get people running 5K every Saturday morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole trans issue in, like high performance sport is quite different. There's there's money up for grabs, and it's the whole fairness issue, I guess, at that level has a slightly different meaning to the parkrun course record, do you think? Or
Yeah. Do you think it's some stage croaks where they take the word run out of the name? And well, no, I'm not joking. And potentially like if you want to time yourself. But like, do they stop doing the hand out the finishing positions and the time? Like to get people moving up and down for 5K is the objective here. Are the times important?
I still think they'll time. Like the whole thing I feel like is just a storm in a teacup. Like when it first came out, and because I'm pretty impartial, like personally I've never been a massive fan of parkrun. And so when it first came out, I was very much of like that's pretty like woke. Like who cares about, publishing the first finisher or having course records? Like surely having sub 17-minute runners there is not going to intimidate people. And I think if you look at the results list of just about every park run, there's not that many fast runners at the park runs. Like the majority are just, out there for a jog. And so I was just like, okay, it's overkill getting rid of it. But then the people that are kicking up a stink about them removing it, it's like, hang on a second, it's park run. The courses aren't even certified. Like if you're so worried about your performances there, like go and do some legit races. And for years and years, I was so against parkrun because it's like most park runs, the courses are pretty crap. It's like for example, the one I do at Gungahlin, like they've got now this little 150 metre section where you run out, you do a U-turn and you come back. It's like if I want to go and test my fitness, I'm going to go down to Lake Burley Griffin where I can pretty much run in a straight line and not have to do so many U-turns. So like, yeah, I just think it's both sides. Like I'm pretty impartial. I can see the arguments from both sides, but at the end of the day, it's just parkrun. Like, just move on.
You can't just say it's just parkrun, crooks. People love parkrun.
But you know what I mean? Like the courses aren't even they're not even certified.
But those people don't care about that. They just know it's the same track every week, and they want to see how they stack up and what their percentage of age grade is, and did they beat last year's time.
They still get that though. If you go to results last weekend, all you need to do is use search for your individual park run, and it has all of the result history from there. So Brady, when you're saying you don't have your course record anymore, you do. Because if you go
how do you do it?
If you go to event history, it'll show every single. It'll have the first male and first female on event history for the Echuca Moama, and all you have to do is scroll down and find which is the fastest time. So it's all still there. And then when you click on the results from last weekend, it still gives you your age percentage, and you can still sort the results by age percentage.
There we go, folks.
It's all still there. It's just that when you go onto their main website, it doesn't have that table where you click first finishers or sub 17 men, sub 20 minute women.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't tell you what your percentage is. It just sorts it. You know what I mean? Just puts it in order. Doesn't actually tell you the percentage.
But you know what your time is. Like, can't you just go, oh yeah, my time was faster or slower than last week?
Yeah.
Like, as I said, storm in the teacup.
Blow over, you reckon?
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks.
I mean, the people. It's such a small percentage of people that I know you said you had 60-40 or whatever, but you're probably the majority of your followers are probably people that are running kind of fast at parkrun, if you get what I mean. Like not the vast majority. If you've got 200 people showing up and doing a parkrun somewhere, if you did a survey there, my guess would be that 90% of them do not care about seeing the fastest finisher.
So Brady, I'm on Gungahlin Parkrun from last weekend, and so if you're on the results page, so go far right. It's got detailed or compact.
Oh yeah, compact.
Go detailed. It tells you exactly what your age percentage is.
Well, there we go.
Like it's all still there.
It's very much as you're not going to be celebrated. We're not going to put it on the main landing page.
Yeah. Like as I said, so nothing's really changed. You can still work out who has the course record. You can still get your age percentage every week. You can actually sort every week by age percentage if you want. I don't know why people are getting so hung up on it.
Someone will probably invent a new website that just mirrors it but includes the other stuff.
Especially for an event that's
they will.
Especially for an event that's not certified. I know Gungahlin Parkrun's had about 3 or 4 course changes in the last 10 years. So, the course has changed. So it's not the same anyway.
I reckon Paddy Stowe started at the wrong spot when he equalled my course record. So he should have been cut anyway. We're done. That's a
You should
parkrun
ride
conversation.
into parkrun and complain.
People are starting petitions and stuff, Ellie. I had a mate who was in Melbourne doing a long run on the weekend, and like people were coming up to him like, "Hey, you got to sign this petition. It's had X amount of signatures so far. We're going to get these results back on parkrun." Like
Oh my God.
it's a real.
Do you know
deal.
what the biggest issue with parkrun is?
That you got tripped
go
over
there
at the start line
and
that time.
people don't self-see.
Yeah, I knew he's cracked it. He's not a partial person to be talking about this stuff, Ali. He's got a hidden agenda because he got tripped over that one
people
day.
get tripped over and fall because. Well, that's more important. The safety of parkrun is more important than the results page.
You don't think numbers won't be impacted the next couple of weeks?
Parkrun isn't for people like you, Brad.
Yeah, that's the big learning thing here, isn't it? It's just like
I've still got a black toenail and still got scars on my arms.
They've created something and they're probably like, this isn't what we wanted to create. We're going to do a pivot, go in this kind of direction, make a tiny little change. But, yeah. All right. That was a listener question. Whispers we've spoken about. Stop slagging off Ali if you're out there running about what she's going to run at Osaka. We've got ears everywhere on this show. Brady on the loose has happened. I'll slag her off. More motivation. You're the kind of person that keeps receipts too, Ali?
No.
You know, won't be getting on the phone after you run 2:22 and start making a few phone calls.
I just remember things. I just remember what people have said.
Yeah, good.
But, you know, these people, they might be right, so we can't really say anything until after the race.
True. Proof will be in the pudding. Croaks, what's coming up for you between now and next week?
Off to Melbourne on Wednesday for a bit of testing.
You flying down or driving?
Yeah, fly.
Fly down. Ali, what are you doing between now and next week?
Good luck, Brad.
Thank you.
Tapering. Yep. Just bit of running, staying away from sicknesses, and just hanging out with Tiggy.
When do you fly out?
Next Wednesday.
Yep. Still a bit of time then.
Yeah.
Business class?
Yeah.
You on business like Moose?
Nah, I'm in economy. Is he going business?
He's going business, yep.
I did actually look the other day how much it would cost to upgrade to business, and it was about $4,000. So
I love it. That does not surprise me at all. Here's Ellie trying to make the Olympic team in cattle class, and there's Moose at the front of the plane.
Don't go lipping off Moose's finances, Croaks. We've been getting shoes delivered every second day from Moose. So I don't know what's gotten into him, but I'm very thankful.
Thanks to Bree as well. I think Moose Bree deserves a bit of a shout out.
Yeah, I
don't
know if Moose actually knows when they arrive until we thank him.
Yeah.
Bree does more work than Jules at that store.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Good luck, Ellie.
Yeah, all the best, Ellie.
For the race.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'll see you over there, Brady. What day do you get there?
Thursday night, I think I am. Fly throughout the day Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
I think leave Melbourne at 6 or 7 a.m. or something like that. Which should be good. Murray Plant Meet's happening 7+ Thursday night. I thought it was the weekend for some reason. Then they were talking about it on that coverage last week. How it's Thursday. And I was like, it's going to come around pretty quick.
Weeknight athletics viewing.
Yeah. Do you know what time it starts or anything? I hope my kids are in bed by the time it kicks off.
It'll be like that sort of 6 o'clock.
I reckon I think a lot of the big races are later, like 7:30, 8:30. So, yeah, I don't know what time your kids go to bed, but...
Could be in trouble. Who wins at 15, Croaks?
Anyone know how well Stewie's going at the moment?
Don't know. He is actually a good one. You don't see 400 pictures of him on Instagram every day of the week, so it's hard to know how he's going.
It literally is so hard to pick a winner because it's like Cam looked like he's got more in the tank. Peyton Craig will just beat whoever's in front of him. And then Stewie's been the
3:34 that
34 indoors,
yeah.
short track.
Short track.
So
I'm going to
I don't
pick
know.
Stewie. I feel like Stewie's still in another league too. I know Jake Whiteman's the world champ, but those young guys are awesome. But I feel like Stewie's just still that step above, isn't he?
No, when's he's been at Fourth Creek for a month though, hasn't he? He wouldn't have ran on a track or done top end speed stuff. I know he's
that
super
doesn't matter
fit.
with him. If he's not injured, he comes out of summers really quick without really fit. Without having necessarily done the specific track stuff.
They're together. Cam Myers is on his shoulder with 200 metres to go though. Who wins?
Oh yeah, Cam Myers.
I just
Yeah,
started.
what if Peyton Craig's still there with 145.4 800 metre speed?
Yeah, and he
But
showed
we know
strength
what
at Zanderbeck.
Stewie's not going to jog around and let those guys be within with 200 metres to go.
But that
Because
means-
Stewie's
Which
fit,
potentially
he's gonna
helps
push
those.
it.
But that
Helps
means he's
those
got to
boys,
go.
though.
He's got to go quicker than probably 3:32, 3:33 to do that to him, though, because that's what they can do. Cam Myers just run 3:34 off a bit of a slow gap.
Yeah, but Stewie knows, like Jake Whiteman's the same. He's got a good kick, so Stewie's going to go into that race, and if he's fit, he's just going to go for it.
So you think
'Cause
Stewie's
he
going
knows
to run?
that's the only
You
way
think
to
he's going
beat
to
them.
go gun to tape 3:32?
Well, it's a mile, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Why? Why is it a
and in
mile?
terms of-
Why don't we do a 1500?
Because it's the John Landy mile.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. Can we just do 1500 or mile? Why we got to do both of them? I get the
And
history.
in terms
it
of
gets
time,
confusing.
Brady, men's 800 is like 6:30, and then the men's 5K is at 8:40. So last event's 8:40. Men's mile is 8:20.
Oh, yeah. Be a shit show at my place during the 800, but then it'll be pretty calm to the rest of them.
When's the women's 5K? Because that'll be a good race too. I
Yes,
reckon.
7:45, and the women's 800 is just before that at 7:35. So really, like outside of the men's 8's at 6:30, and then from a distance point of view, you pretty much got nothing till 7:35, and then it's going to be good from 7:35 all the way through till close to 9 o'clock.
I told you about my idea with the timetable, and didn't I? You just put all the races back to back. Been talking
The
about
distance ones. Yeah.
just put them all back to back, half an hour, and then you can show the shot put, the long jump, and then people don't get angry in the Facebook comments about not seeing the pole vault. Like, just show it all.
It's not a bad idea.
Imagine that turning your TV from 8 o'clock to 8:35 with all the distance races, then you just turn it off.
Yeah, but often I guess the program.
Yeah, I like watching it all night.
You guys are
I kind
weird
of
how you
enjoy
just sit
having
down there at Surf Coast watching track and field meets for like 4 hours.
You just have it on while you're like cooking dinner and pottering around, and it's good. Tig loves it too.
Yeah, rightio. Hey, big guest next week, Croaks. Big fill-in. Going to the top. Some people say the biggest name in Australian distance running.
You don't say that while Ellie's still on.
Ellie's the most popular name in Australian
Brad.
distance running, but this one's got a few extra
I
medals.
know by now I'm the backup girl, all right?
No, you're not the
I've
back.
got your back, Ellie.
We've gone to you 3 times. You're the star of the show. You know who it is next week, Ellie. I'll give you the most popular. Yeah, it would have been. I swear I sent you through what weeks you were on and the other guests as well.
Biggest name in Australian distance running
Yeah, I'd say.
right now.
Maybe not right now. Most recognisable name in Australian distance running. Maybe.
Marathon running.
Female.
You know who it is. You can literally just look through your
Oh,
messages
I
and
know
see
who
it there. Big name,
I know
anyway.
who it
Big
I don't
name.
know. I don't know about that biggest. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
With
There's
the
a fair
general,
few big names in women's distance running.
with the general public. Go down to your supermarket. Do a survey for me. Go down to your supermarket tomorrow, Croaks, and just ask people, show them photos and see which one comes back.
Well, why don't you
Most
put up
recognisable.
a survey after this episode, Brady, and say who's the most recognisable Australian female distance runner, in the public's eye, and see who people vote for.
Yeah, not in our followers' eyes, because they obviously know way more about sport than the general public. Might do a survey in the staff room on Thursday when I'm in at work. See what happens. All right, we're talking a bit of garbage here. Thanks, listeners, for tuning in. That's been a 2-hour show. Road to Osaka tomorrow. I might even give you it now, Monday night on Patreon, everywhere on Saturday. I'm not sure what those guys are going to be talking about or who's their filling guest, if Rachel's there or not, but I reckon they'd be having similar conversations to us with the Kelvin Kiptum news, obviously breaking a few hours ago. Thanks again, Ellie. Thanks, Croaks. See you later.
Good luck, Ellie.
No worries, Brady. Thanks, Brad. See
Bye.
ya.
Special thanks to On for sponsoring this episode of the Inside Running podcast. The new Cloudrunner 2 for no bad runs ever. With more support, more comfort and more cushioning for more fun on every run. For professional athletes and new runners alike, our Heelin Superphone is a game changer. The upgraded midsole provides softer cushioning and higher energy return, plus Cloud Tech cushioning to absorb impact, so you can keep racking up the miles with confidence. Visit on.com or your specialty running retail store to grab your pair today.